Hey everybody, welcome to American Small Business Institute. I'm Aaron Konzelman, and we are here today with Gary Bernier.
Welcome, man.
How are you?
I'm awesome, man.
Awesome.
Okay, I love being down here.
Yeah, it's fun. It's kind of warm. It's good temperature.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day.
What are we talking about today?
Well, we're talking about the automation of marketing today.
Okay.
Right? And this is really a little bit of a case study of what we did for one of our clients this year. So it's a little bit of a case study and a little bit of how the business owners out in ASBI land can take these concepts and apply it to their business.
Awesome.
And as Roy said after my presentation upstairs to the partners, really figure out how to apply the 80-20 rule to what they're doing.
Okay.
Right? So what you'd see on your screen is in 2018, this particular customer does home renovations. They do it as a two-step sales presentation. They go and they measure the basement, see how big it is, so they get some numbers. And then they have the customer come in, and then they do the whole sales presentation to them.
Okay.
So in 2018, their show-up rate for the in-homes was 71%, and the sales appointment was 67%. And we implemented this automation at the end of 2018, and so in 2019, we've seen that jump to 86% and 76%. And everybody wants to know, what does that do to their sales? It's unfair. Their sales have jumped 87% in the same period. But that's not just because of the automation.
Yeah, sure.
Right? They had kind of a rough start to last year, but they bumped their numbers. So, but it has definitely contributed. They've definitely noticed that the show rate is up, makes the conversation easier. So what do we do? Well, when you automate, or why should you automate, it forces you to get really tight on what your customer journey experience is. You need to sit down, you need to document each one of those steps. Yeah. And sometimes you end up thinking about things that you didn't think about previously. Now you get consistency, which means you get to deliver that brand experience, the way that you wanted to deliver the brand experience, because you control the messaging. Right. You get repeatability, which allows you to tighten up your ship. All right, everything starts to happen more systematically. And again, you have control over the message, which means you can control the persuasion, where when you leave it to other people, who knows what's going out there. And the fourth one is you remove the lazy factor.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
The employees, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Did you send that email? I don't know. I'll get around to it, whatever. So when you automate, it takes all of that out of the system, right? And here we wanted to increase the book to close rate. What to automate? Anything that's going to increase response time in terms of communication. A lot of times people have forms on their web, fill out the form, and we'll get back to you. With my team building business, as soon as somebody fills out a form, they get a nice automated email looks like it's coming from me. It's coming from the system, says, hey, when's a great time to talk?
Yeah, awesome.
Because I know the next step in the process is they want to talk to somebody.
Exactly.
And I smile and giggle every time I get the response that says, oh, thank you for the really quick response. I'm like, automation.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And thanks for telling me when it's good to call you.
Yeah.
So it makes it much easier to do that. The second one is reminders. So specifically like this client, anytime you need show rate, you need somebody to be there, they're busy. So if you're not reminding them and telling them what's going on with the process, they're going to miss that. So the third one is communication steps around the process. What's coming next? What's the next phase of the journey that they're going through? If you have a multi-step long process, setting those expectations, communicating that kind of stuff is really important to having the person involved in the process and understanding where they are at each step of that journey.
So it's like an automated shepherd that's guiding them through the whole process.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you know that communication should be happening anyways.
Yeah, yeah.
And probably today people are doing it manually. But when you document that and put that out there, then you can systematize it, and it takes it away from the employee. So as you change employees or people move around inside your org, the communication still happens consistently over and over again. How to pick what to automate? Something that, as we were just talking about, happens with high frequency.
Right.
Every time somebody books online, they should get a communication. It's an important communication step. It's time sensitive. Our term is it's currently a pain in the assets, or it has a PETA factor wrapped around it. Right? So it's being done some of the time or very little of the time because it's a pain in the ass. Yeah. So yeah, if the PETA factor is high, definitely automate that. And typically you can strap an ROI around that when you look at it from that perspective.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, many people will say, yeah, but it only takes a little bit of time. And if you look at this time value equation, 10 minutes a day times 5 days a week is 50 minutes a week, right? That actually works out to a full week a year.
Wow.
Of time.
Oh, yeah.
So how do you get more productivity out of your people? You take this donkey work that they don't like doing, that they're not good at, that you can't control the message, you take it away from them, you put it into the system, you control all that. Now, here's the spot that everybody messes up. If there was one thing that people need to grab out of this presentation, it's right here. You need to start with an iterative development model. And this means you pick something small.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you filled out the web form, you should get a response. Or this is our first meeting, I should make sure they're getting reminders over the first meeting. And you implement that, you test it, you get it working, you get results on that, and then you add on.
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
Because the mistake everybody makes when they fall in love with automation is that they then want to automate everything, and you get scope creep, and it becomes the never-ending project that never gets implemented.
Right.
So chunk it down. Do the first step, get something working, test it. That's the key, because there's always next month. You can always, this type of system you can always add on to. Tools, everybody wants to know what tools should I use. These days, so in the last 5 years, all of the tools have evolved. So 5, 6 years ago, there was one primary tool. Everybody said if you were doing automation, use it. But all of the software as a service, they've all evolved. So now there's so many tools, I can't actually make the best recommendation to you because there's just too many out there. But here's some of the guidelines. If you're gonna pick a tool, you should be able to do email, you should be able to do text, you should be able to do automated voicemail calls, and you should be able to do some direct mail. In other words, instruct the front desk to send something out. So multi-component. It should tie into your CRM so that you can see all the communication that went out to the client. Was it opened up? Did they pay attention to it? Those are the things you're looking for in the tool that you choose. You want it to fit into your business environment. You don't always want to add something in addition to what you've already got.
Yep.
So here's the campaign details for this case study. Immediately after the phone call happens, so somebody hears our radio ad or visits, goes through the Google ad, visits the website, whatever it is, they end up calling into the business and saying, hey, I'm interested in a basement. Well, they go, okay, and they ask them they do the initial call script, that generates that measuring appointment. So they put the data into the CRM, which immediately triggers this communication process you see on the screen. So we send them an immediate confirmation. Now, what that does for the client is, you heard me.
Right. Yeah.
And yes, those are the things I agreed to.
Yes. Yeah.
And in there you say, if there's any changes, call me. Next day we say, hey, here's who's coming. Day after that, you want to read a little bit more, get their picture, take a look, so it's some more biographical information. Day before we send them a reminder, day of we send them a reminder.
Awesome.
So that's 5 steps, when before you were lucky if one of those was happening.
Yeah.
Right, that's why that show rate's gone up. The message that you produce, and I know Wizard of Ads, we're all about the message. Everybody knows how to do this because we all write email every day. It's a personal communication. It's like the prospect is the only one that ever received it, even though you've automated it. It needs to appear to be sent by a person, not a machine, or not a group.
Yep.
And because you want them to take action, you have to have clear next steps. Now here's the key, and this is the part that people mess up. When you send that type of message out there, people will respond. Just like I mentioned in the beginning, you have to manage those responses.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So the people that are doing text message marketing today that aren't replying to the responses they're getting through, it's just going in the garbage. So make sure that it's monitored and responded to. Here's an example message to you. What's underlined are the variables. And so it doesn't matter which front desk person schedules this secondary appointment. Doesn't matter who the designer is. What we know is the key pieces of information they want to know is what's the time, how long is it going to take. So we tell the person you're coming in for 2 hours, here's the location details. We give them that pertinent information they need to interact with us. And again, if you have brandable chunks, we believe, and it fits the messaging strategy, this is a perfect place to incorporate some of those higher level messaging strategies. Now the mistakes you see, and everybody's seen these, is the glitz and graphics. Because let's face it, we're on our phone. Glitz and graphics means it's not a personalized communication. Right. It's got marketing speak, not interested. No. Boring, not really interested in boring. And about you, not about them, they don't care. And if it's sort of an unbelievable marketing message, too good to be true, they're just not interested in that stuff. And that sort of breaks your automation and means you don't get the results you were looking for. So our next steps with this particular campaign, again, following the strategy that I outlined, is we're changing the front desk script so they now ask, is it an email or a text that you want? We're giving the customer the opportunity to choose their preference, and then we'll be tying in the text messaging. And the text messaging won't be that different from the email messaging, a little bit tighter, but the variables and saying, hey, do you want to know who and whatever, it'll all be there. And then what we were able to create for them was a dashboard using the API into the system that showed them all their stats so they could actually see what their close ratios were. And so we're now monitoring this together with the client each month and comparing the results. So in summary, if you want to add automation to your business, pick something manageable to start with, not too big. Roll it out quickly, test it, monitor it, improve it. And then that means you're getting some results. Right, as quickly as possible, 30, 45 days down the road, you're getting some results. You're not waiting 6 months. And then expand on that, build onto it, because all of these systems allow you to bolt on and continue to grow this out. So that's my advice to the community.
That's awesome. And I love that you hit that point of it frees your people up to do the other things, and it immediately makes more points of connection. That's great.
Yeah, you really cut the donkey work down for the employee,
cut the donkey work.
And free them up to be doing other more personalized communication, which they need to do, or put their focus into the things that are important. And all of your messaging is then sort of controlled, and you know what's working and what's not working.
Awesome. It's great. Great info.
Thank you.
Awesome, man. Thanks for being with us. Yeah.
Pleasure.
We'll catch you next time. All right, we'll see you guys next week.